I forgot the name. There's this one channel. This guy goes, he's talking about God and the flesh, and he's like, oh, he's actually reading stuff. Wow, like old writings about. There's a whole bunch of other like writings, and I don't know if they belong in the Bible or not, but they're like, I guess they found them in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And, a lot of them are left out. It tells you a lot of stories that they don't want us to know about. And he's like, I'm gonna get his name. I keep saying I'm gonna get. I never do. But he's talking about why should I love, no, why can't I love my flesh? What's wrong with the flesh? Like he's reading it and it makes sense, and then he turns on it and goes, well, what's wrong with loving the flesh? What's wrong with the flesh? And then it's like I get it. It's like when you people think, oh, if you're a Christian, you can't love yourself, or love God, you can't love yourself, so your self esteem goes down. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about love God, love His laws, love His righteousness. And then when you look at yourself, you don't look at yourself like, oh, look how pathetic you are. No, instead it's like, look what you're not being. Look what you're not doing right. Look what you could be. It's not like a self beating where you like it's. There's two ways to lower yourself. One is, oh, you're nothing, you're nobody. That's one way, and it doesn't mean that. It means more like you're not living to your potential. Look how God is holy, and and you're supposed to be like that, and you're not living up to it. It's more like that. So it actually is love. You do love yourself. You love yourself the right way is what I would say. When you love yourself and you don't have those laws in there, you don't have that righteousness, that holiness of God. You love yourself with no. You love yourself, and there's nothing, no substance behind it. What is it about yourself that you love? What? Because you look good? Oh, that's passing away. You can't run from death. That's We're all gonna face death. What? Your skills? Well, nothing wrong with your skills. You can love them, just don't be obsessed with them. There's other things in life, like suffering people that need your help. Things like that. So you got to get right with Jesus because the Antichrist is about to step out to the scene. He's a man. He's out there. It's the devil's son, our daughter. I don't even know if it's a woman. That'd be a great trick. Make it a woman. But the Antichrist. I believe it's a man. The Antichrist is out there. It's the son of the devil, and he's gonna step out onto the scene if he ain't already on the scene. You think? Yeah, I like Trump, but you think possibly Trump? I don't know. But if it is Trump, he's a little old. But I have nothing against Trump. I don't know if he's in on it with the globalist or if he's not in on it with the globalist. I just can't tell. I think some things aren't adding up. I think it all could be one giant act. It's all a big Broadway play. North Korea. It's all just one big Broadway play. They all know each other. They're all hybrids, and the hybrids, they don't make any sense. I feel bad. They don't. They're like they're just totally screwed. You know, they're the ones that are being forgotten. They're the ones that it's really a sad story. They're the ones that really. I mean, I know they're causing all this hell and pain to us, but they don't have nowhere to go. They're kind of like left out. It's not they got a bad apple. They got it dished out really bad. It was it's not their fault they were born, and it's not their fault. And I know if they just stop, I know I can feel it. God's not, God doesn't want to just hurt people. Judgment is judgment. If they just stop what they're doing, and maybe who knows? Maybe God will, you know, it's a sad case for them, and they're gonna have a lot of worse things coming their way if they don't stop. and they're already put in a bad position. They're under pressure, and then they give into it. There's like I'm sure a demonic energy. I'm sure it's stronger than ever because they're getting close to their moment. And they wait the devils waited thousands of years for this moment, if not millions of years for this moment. And they could probably feel the energy. He's probably striking them with a bunch of stimuli. But it's a trick because they're going to get a little time of ecstasy, and then when it's over, they're going to get sevenfold the pain they cause, and it's going to hurt a lot more than the ecstasy they're getting. So they're victims in a large way. They're victims in this. They're bigger victims than us. And it's a real sad story. So I'm praying to God to give them something, give them some hope. I don't believe God's gonna let them out. I just don't feel that. I don't think God's leaving them out. They'll have something for them. There'll be something for them if they stop and they, they're part human. They might not be what we are. They ain't supposed to commingle with us, but they're part human. They have a human aspect to them. They have got to stop what they're doing, and maybe God will give them other kind of bodies, and maybe they can go on in some other form, But at least escape punishment. I mean, to me, eternal life's great, but it's not worth the punishment. If God said, "I'm going to punish you sevenfold, but you can go on forever," I'd be like, "Ah, no, you can keep forever. I don't want it." The punishment's going to be so horrible. It's just better to just die and not have that punishment at all than to live forever and have that punishment. That's what I'm saying. They're not going to live forever. They're going to be punished. They're going to be punished, greatly punished. A lot of pain. It ain't worth it. There's nothing that could be worth it to have such a punishment. Nothing. And they're doing it to themselves. They're doing it. So they're dishing the stuff out. It's just the way it works. When you dish it out, everything's like a mirror. This place is set up like a trap. It's a mirror. And when you dish it out, you're just dishing it out to yourself is what it's all about. And it seems to like speed on up. And when it bounces back, it's like sevenfold. It ain't worth it. Be a lot of pain. A lot of torment. I don't know. I don't know. They almost sound like they're a program. If they're alive and they're aware that they exist, and they really are alive, they would have their own thoughts. If they don't have their own thoughts, if they're not alive, if they're just being remote controlled, then that's a different story. If they're stuck in those bodies and they don't have a choice, they got to stop. They got to stop. The punishment's not going to be worth it. God's coming real soon. There's a real physical God. I cried to Jesus and he showed up. Orbs showed up and they kicked that light demon's butt. That wasn't a show. That was real. That pain was so horrible. There's no way. It wasn't putting no show on it. It didn't have to stop. It could have ripped me apart. If it really had control, but it kept going. It was loving it. And when those orbs showed up, those orbs stopped it. And only when I cried out for Jesus is when those orbs showed up. It just proves that God is real. It proves that Jesus is God is what it really proves. And there's power in his name, and they're not going to escape it. They're not being punished for being born. Oh no, it's not for being born. That's not their fault. They were forced here because the fallen angels and scientists all made the decision to do what they're doing, and the hybrids had no choice in it. So if they just stop, then that big punishment is coming. All of us have to get judged. It's just the way it's going to be. It's the way God has it set up. Everybody's going to be judged. I don't think the animals are going to be judged. They're exempt. It's really people and hybrids and angels, the intelligent ones, are going to be judged for their actions. And people, we have God, and the hybrids don't have anyone to go to. They have the devil, and that's a dead end street. He's going to burn the longest. The suffering, hardcore pain. It ain't worth it. Just stop in your tracks. I don't want anything to suffer. It's just you think about that pain. It's like, no, I could understand. I could relate to it. It's just it's victims. That's they stop. See, they're doing it to themselves. If they continue what they're doing, then when they're punished, they have no one to blame but themselves. They have to stop. Yeah, they never asked to be here, but they're here. And God's not going to make them pay for that. That's propaganda. The devil's trying to get them to do what he wants them to do. He's getting them to do it. And that's it. They do not have to pay. They stop, turn around, go the other direction, and stay with yourselves. And that will pass over. That punishment will avoid you. And I don't know how connected you guys are. I don't know how that works. No one's talking to me. No one's telling me how it works. I wish I knew how it works. I could pray about it. But if you guys are all connected like one brain, then I guess if one of you stopped, all of you would stop. Is that how it works? Or you guys have any kind of independence, any kind of free will, away from the nest, any kind of free will? And you want to stop. You want to stop. And if you're afraid that they're going to hurt you, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That could be stopped too. God will do anything if you just do what he says to do. He won't let you get hurt. He'll put a protection around you. Oh, I would help. If I could help, if there was anything, I'd make sure. I'd go down for one of them if they really, really, really wanted the help. I'd go with them, make sure they get the help. I don't want them to suffer, but they have to stop. They really have to stop. Because if they don't stop, there's no way to avoid it. It's rigged that way. It's the nature of it. If the stove is on fire and the fire's on the pilot, and if I don't walk over there and don't put my hand in it, I won't get burned. If I walk over there and put my hand, I get burned. So if they continue what they're doing, they're just walking over to the fire and putting their hand in it. That's exactly what they're doing. They have to stop. Oh, let's just stop.